Good morning, Mr. Boon Keng Hua, Principal of Temasek Polytechnic, members of Board of Governors, Temasek Polytechnic, and School Advisory Committee. Distinguished guests, parents, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I must thank Temasek Poly for giving me the honor and the privilege for STADA to be here to share with you. This morning, I've decided that I will not read from a prescribed script because I believe that my sharing must be a sharing from the heart, right? And it must be a sharing from a practitioner viewpoint. You have spent many years in Temasek Poly. They have developed you from a young girl or boy to today you're leaving Temasek Poly as a young man and young woman. This is a major step. You are going into the world. You are no more in a protected environment. So there are a few things the world is looking at you, and there are a few things that you can do to help the world. Let me start with the first slide. And my topic to you today is, you are an artist. Why? You are going to begin your journey in life. You really have a blank sheet of paper. It is like your art paper. You are going to draw your life. This is your life that your journey begins as from tomorrow. This is what you will be and you want to be in the future. Down the road, someday, you may be standing here like me. You will realize that life has moved on. And what have you left behind? Do you want to leave behind? Do you want to leave behind something where people can say, yes, I met this young man or woman, and this young man and woman has changed my life. This is what they had done for me. You may end up being a lecturer in Temasek Poly. You've seen your lecturers change your life. Today, without them, would you be here to receive your certificate, to receive your medals? They have taken that pride, that job seriously. They have taken their roles and responsibility seriously. They have built you and changed you from a young girl and boy to a young man and woman that's going to contribute to the society. Indirectly, you are going to be our next generation of nation builders. When we are gone, it is your stage. It's where you're going to take Singapore to. So remember, on your shoulders rests the future of Singapore. So you, the artist, must do your painting. Okay, I show you this slide on Mona Lisa. I put here, we look but do not see. Now, tell me, if you look at this painting, is it the smile you're looking at? Is it the beauty of Mona Lisa? Why is this painting worth millions? Why? Now, most of the time, when we go out into the world, we are so engrossed with our day-to-day, trying to put up reports, trying to finish our routine work, that we look but do not see. We need to start seeing, not that we stop looking, but we need to start seeing. Why? Because, like the saying goes, if the student is ready to learn, the teacher is everywhere. So if we start looking past looking and start being able to see things and pick up things that at first glance we do not see, then we are building ourselves. We are learning. Don't forget, you are in a real world, a working world, where sometimes you get good bosses, you get good coaches, you get good mentors who will guide you and teach you. Sometimes you don't. It is in times that you do not get such people that come alongside you that you yourself have to pick it up. You have to go past looking you have to be able to see the final points so that you can learn, you can grow. Every day is an opportunity. I show you this painting, right? Now, remember I said you are an artist? You have a blank sheet of paper. You're going to paint your life. Now, do you want to paint a picture that is beautiful, serene? Or do you want to paint a picture that is stormy? What do you want? You have to determine. You have to select your paint. You have to know what you want in life. You have to search. It is never given on a platter. Life is about a journey. Life is about what you want to make of it. Life is about not only making life out of it, but it's about giving back to society. You heard the call that, please come back and join the Temasek alumni. Why? Because your Polytechnic, Temasek Polytechnic, has recognized that you will be able to contribute back to the Polytechnic to build this place into an even better place, to develop the next generation so that they can contribute. Just pause and share with you my experience with some of you. I think some of you could be here. Some of you has taken part as ambassadors for the ASTD STADA conference. Credit to Temasek. Credit to you. The feedback I got from the foreign delegates were, where do you get these young men and women? They are so well trained. They are so disciplined. They are so good in able to embrace us. What does it tell you? It tells you that Temasek Polytechnic has given you a good foundation, that you have also learned, that you have the right attitude. You have embraced that learning process. Now, you need to go one step further. You are going into the real world. The real world is not a protected environment. Your progress will depend on you, yourself. What is the painting you want to paint? You have to ask yourself, because it's going to be your journey of life. The next slide will tell you this. As we know, Charles Darwin said, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change that survives. Now we know we are living in a world of change. The world is ever changing. Singapore as a nation, while we are small and a little red dot, we are connected to the world. Our survival is not based on our resources. We don't have natural resources. Our survival is our people. Our people means you and me. It means whether we are able to adapt to change, whether we want to be part of the change. Because the world is always looking at Singapore and Singapore's success story. Are we, as painters of the future, going to perpetuate this story of Singapore's success? Do we carry the nation's responsibility to ensure that Singapore continues to be a recognizable red dot where the world looks at and says, I think this red dot is something that I can learn from. I was in Japan. I just came back from Japan. I was in the States, Denver. I attended a conference. I went to Japan to speak to Japanese companies on corporate trends in learning and development in Asia. And the Japanese have nothing but praise for us. Now, how did we arrive at this journey at this time? How did we arrive? We arrived because there was a generation ahead of us that brought us here. It is therefore our generation to bring the next generation there, the future. What is the future? The future is not about what we cannot see. The future is about what we want to make it to be. It is our challenge to really define the future. The future doesn't define us, right? We are human beings. We are given a brain to think. We are the person that has to decide our own future. To add to another word to what is being shared with you, I would like to add the word called courage. In future, what we can do will depend on the courage we bring with us. Are we ready for the challenge? Do we have the courage to take the challenge? Do we have the courage to continue to maintain integrity? Right? I think if some of you have watched the news, I think it's yesterday or the day before, there was a survey conducted, and it seems that I think it raised from 7 to 9%, something like that, that executives are saying they do not mind bribing their way into getting a business. Right? Now, is that integrity? Are we, as executives in the future, you, the executives of the future, going to be drawn into this? Or do you have the integrity and says, no, I'm not bribing my way into a business. My value of my business is the value I'm bringing onto the table. Nothing less, nothing more. Do you have the courage to stay that way when the world will try to influence you to go the other way? What are our values? Now, I think all of us can say we are Asian. And what is the difference of Asians? I think the difference between the East and the West is that the East is anchored down on our traditional values, our family values that we were brought up by our parents, the value of honesty, the value of integrity. This is what we are brought up, and this is what we must keep. While the world can fall apart, while the world can be influenced by events that we think to get us further, we got to do certain things that probably is not right. We have to stay firm. We have to believe that the effort that we went through the education system of Singapore, the effort you are putting through all these years and now you're working, has to be based on the values your parents brought you up, the values the Polytechnic has taught you, the institutions have taught you, and that should shape you as an individual, as a young man and woman. Right? And if you anchor yourself on values, I think Singapore will continue to prosper because we, as Singaporeans, must understand we have nothing but only human resource, us. And if we do not anchor ourselves down on values and foundations of learning and development, we will soon be overtaken. In conclusion, I will say this as the last slide. The only constant in life today is change. So, when you go out there in the real world, you will be challenged every day. And what are you going to do about it? So, you need to be very clear. That is why when I thought I wanted to share today, I chose the title, You Are an Artist, because you are going to paint your journey of your life, the journey of life on your painting. Someday, when you move on, would people look at the painting and say, this painting is worthless, throw in the dustbin? Or do people look at this painting and say, I'm going to hang it in the wall because it's going to be my role model, I believe in it? Or is your painting worth $1 million and more, like Mona Lisa? What is that painting of your life going to be? Because all of us will have to go somewhere someday. We all have to move on. And for those who believe in religion, you hope that you go on to heaven. But at the end of the day, when you move on, what are you leaving behind? Do you, or are you going to be like the many others that have moved on, and history will not know them because they have no name, they have just moved on? Or do you want to leave behind something? To leave behind, when your name is mentioned over a cup of coffee, people say, yes, I've come across this man or this woman. Yes, my life was changed by him or her. That he has helped me along. And today, who I am is a result of what he has done for me or she has done for me. And today, what you are now, stepping out into the real world, is what Temasek Polytechnic, the principals, the lecturers, the staff of Temasek Poly has take you in and shape you into what you are, and prepare you now for the challenge of the real world. Tomorrow, your life begins. Tomorrow, whatever you bring to the workplace, whatever you leave behind the workplace, is not about you. It's about what can you give to the society that is going to be a reflection of you. So on that note, I said, congratulations. You are on and going to begin your journey of life. Thank you.